And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, Tom Vasel here.
Hey, Zee Garcia, what's happening?
Today we're looking at some expansions for Star Realms. Now, Star Realms just won Card Game of the Year at BoardGameGeek.com.
That's right.
And it's a very, very popular game. And so what they did is they made some expansions that look like they're booster packs for a collectible card game.
That's right.
They come in little foil packs, but they're not. You get the same thing. There was 4 of them. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at what's inside each pack, and we'll tell you if it's worth adding to the game or not. The first 2 sets that come, and they all come wrapped up in their own individual pack, we have bases and battleships and fleets and fortresses. And essentially they each add 3 more cards of each of the different factions. So here we have 2 Spike Pods and Death World, which is really cool because you can scrap the Trade Federation Machine Cult or Star Empire card from your hand or discard pile if you do draw a card. So it lets you kind of cycle through your hands, scrap through them, and it's also lets you attack someone for 4. Death World is also a cool name, so you'll be glad to have it. Then we have the customs frigates here, which basically when you acquire a ship at cost 4 or less, you can put on top of your deck, which is it's kind of a free cost type thing. And then the Capital World, which is a great world for healing, and it's a good defensive base also. We have Cargo Launch here for the Star Empire, and then the Star Fortress. And then for the Machine Cult, we have Patrol Bots and Border Forts, both of which allow you to basically get money or attack your opponent. When we look at the bases or battleships, we have Trade Rafts for the Trade Federation, and then we have the Construction Hauler, which is nice because it heals 3, gives you 2 money, and lets you draw a card. For the Machine Cult, we have the Defense Bot, which is kind of fairly normal, but the Mega Mech, which is one of those names that's pretty cool again. Attack 6, and you can also return a target base from play to its owner's hand. A very powerful card. For Star Empire, we have the Fighter Base, where it makes your opponent discard a card, and it's also an outpost, and the Imperial Trader. Then we have Trade Wheel for the Blob. This is just 1 money, and when you combine it with something else, it's a 2 attack, but it's fairly inexpensive. And then the Obliterator, which is a 7 attack, and if your opponent has 2 or more base in play, it's another 6. It is the ultimate base destroyer. The other 2 sets are fairly different. First, we have the event. When an event comes into the trade row, you basically draw an event card, then instantly whatever it says happens. So for example, here everyone draws 3 cards and puts 2 of those cards back on their deck in any order. Here everyone just draws 2 cards. Here everyone has to destroy a base or you lose 6 health. So you have basically either a positive thing that happens to everybody or something negative, or sometimes something that you can possibly do. Like everyone here, each player may scrap up to 2 cards in their hand or discard pile. Each player can discard up to 2 cards. For each card less than 2, they'll lose 4 life. So you could not discard anything, but then you lose 8 life. Or here, this is like the reset, the supernova. Each player loses 5 life, then scrap all cards in a train row. But unless you think everything is awful, then there's things like the Galactic Summit where everyone gains 7 life. So there's lots of them, and then a few of them that there's 2 of those. So that's the event deck. You shuffle these in, you don't buy them. When you turn one over, it simply happens right away. Then we have the heroes. Now heroes, you'll first notice that every hero is cheap. They're 1 or 2 cost, and when you buy a hero, it comes into play instantly. Now the great thing about these heroes are you can scrap them to use the secondary abilities on every other ship that you have. So essentially this War Elder here, whenever I have any of the Machine Cult cards, so let's say for example I'm playing this card, I can discard my War Elder to do both things on the card, even if I haven't played another Machine Cult card. So these are kind of like you save them here, you play them in front of you, and you can use them when you want. And for each one there's 2 small ones, and then there's a larger one here with a special ability or a better ability here like High Priest Lyle. Then we got, for the Blob, we have the Ram Pilots, who they do 2 attack when you discard them and let you use the extra ability on the Blob Overlord, who does a 4 attack. Then we have here the Special Ops Directors, who heal you and lets you use an ability on one of the blue cards, or CEO Torres, who heals you for 7 and lets you use an ability on a blue card. The Cunning Captains, which lets you use an ability on the yellow cards, and then this guy here who lets you draw a card and use the ability on another card. These are very simple, easy. Many times you have leftover money when you're buying on a turn of Star Realms, so here you can spend 1 or 2 and buy these cards and put them in front of you and use them on a future turn. All right, so I wondered, what do you think about them selling it in 4 packs rather than just one box as a...
I don't know. I think it speaks to their model, though, where they sell a whole game here for $15, and it's for only 2 players, but the game technically plays more than 2. You just need to buy more than 1 of this. If you buy 2 of these, you can play 4 players. And that model worked out really well for them. This game sold extremely well. So I think they're just tying on to that system. Really, it's, hey, we have this expansion, but we're going to chop it up in 4 pieces and sell it to you piecemeal. And you know, I think it'll work out fine. I think people will probably end up getting 1 or 2 and then like those and just pick up the rest. It's a nice way to test something out instead of having to plop all the money down at once.
That's true. Now, I will mention that it doesn't fit in this box when you add the expansion, so you have to figure out some other storage solution.
They sell solutions for that, too. So they've got it all figured out.
It's like microtransactions.
Yeah.
Now, I wondered, you know, for me, I have all 4, and I threw all 4 in, and all 4 fit in seamlessly, and it doesn't feel like you're always seeing this new stuff, but the new stuff is always there. But if I was just buying the packs... Like, let's say you're going to buy 1 or 2 packs.
Right.
What would you get?
Well, I'd get the ones that are the most different first, just because I'd want to change up the system. I wouldn't just want more of the same. I don't have the cards memorized or anything like that, so seeing a new card pop up wouldn't blow my mind if it's a similar card. But the events are very different. They're very simple to deal with, but they're very different. And then the, what are they, leaders?
Yeah.
The leaders are also very different, and I like those a lot.
Heroes.
The heroes, that's it, the heroes. They mix it up in a nice way. So I'd get those 2 first. Again, largely because the other 2 packs are very similar to what's in the box already.
And I agree with Z here. I think that those 2 are the most different. The other 2 packs, they're cool and nice cards, but I don't even know, you know, if you played a game right now and said, expansion or original set, I would lose because they fit. There's no new mechanisms on them. They're just different variations of stuff that's already in there, and that's fine because it gives you more variety, and I like that. And they added a good ratio, so you're not seeing too many of one type of ship and etc. But the heroes, when they pop up, you're like, ooh, a hero.
Right.
And I like that the heroes are neat. They're not overpowered, but you can still use change to buy them. Like, oh, I got 1 left over. I'll take that hero.
Sure.
And if you use them at the right point, they can be critically helpful. The events, I like the events. I'm always a little worried about random events in a game.
Right.
But at least this one affects everybody equally, and it just kind of, I don't know, it brings a change up. To me,
I like
it would be the 4th one I would buy of the packs. Not because I don't like them. I just don't know that they're essential.
I think it would be my 2nd, actually, after the heroes. I really like what events do. I like them in most games. If there's a card you flip, it does something now, then you get rid of it, move on, flip a new card, keep going. I like that. I think it adds a nice moment of change of pace, where you sort of get into this rhythm of the game, and then an event hits, and you have to stop and read it and do it. And I like that breakup in the cadence of the game. So for me, I like it much more than you did, the event. It's one of my
I don't
favorites.
dislike them. I just felt, I don't know, I'm always a little, I just, it's not that big of a deal to me. But Heroes I was excited about, and the other stuff is fine. I think it's good. It adds a lot, these expansions add a lot to the game without really changing anything. In fact, there's no rules for anything. The rules for Heroes and events are printed right on the cards.
Yeah, it's very
just
simple.
It's a one-line thing, and so I think it adds flavor to the game if that's what you're looking for.
Agreed. If you like the game and you've played it a lot, especially, get those expansions. They'll breathe some new life into the game.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at DicetowerNetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Shut the door!
There.